Welcome to the show that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zach Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. This week we have a story from Amanda before we get into all the discussion. So Amanda, is it a dramatic one? Because Zach likes to tell dark urban tales. What about you?
Mine's supposed to go a little bit more into the creepy aspect.
Creepy?
Yep.
So it's like a true crime kind of thing? Or
well,
what?
I guess you'll find out.
Or a fiction crime?
I don't know. It could be either. It could be triction.
Well, you better know, or this is going to be the weirdest storytelling
Triction
moment.
crime.
It could
It's
be
a triction
crime.
Yep.
All right, well, if you're ready, tell us your story.
Well,
Can't wait to hear the ghost story.
hey, way to ruin it.
Who did it?
Spoilers, everyone.
Keep the spoilers to yourself.
No,
before he
the story's been
talks.
out for a year. It's good. You can just talk about it now.
All right, here's my story. A newlywed couple, Ariella and Dominic, are moving into their first house together in Baltimore, Maryland, after Dominic landed the job of his dreams. He will be a resident neurosurgeon at Johns Hopkins Hospital. They each have a little one from previous relationships. Ariella's little boy, Spencer, is a 6-year-old happy but introverted child that Dom takes care of as if it were his own. Dom's son, William, is 4 years old and has a neurological condition, which was the motivation for Dom to go into the field of medicine. They're also expecting. Ariella's about 6 months along and they're convinced it'll be a girl. Well, Dom is constantly rubbing Ariella's stomach, telling the fetus it'll be a girl, so honestly maybe they're the ones trying to do the convincing. They found a beautiful manor that has windows everywhere, is somewhat secluded, which means quiet, and has many rooms for their growing family. It's a very gothic-looking home with a lot of yard space and a small woodsy area in the back behind the big willow tree. It has 2 offices, one for Dom to study from home and one for Ariella to do her painting when she's not taking care of the kids or eating pickles dipped in grape jam with sprinkles on top.
Ew.
The house was on the market for a while and they heard stories which made them hesitant to even buy, but the offer wasn't one they could turn down. It's pretty close to the hospital and near some really great schools, and with the student debt they've both accrued, Ariella from her art degree and Dom from his medical degrees, they needed something affordable. It was a big house that needed a little bit of work, but seemed well worth it to them. And the play set in the backyard that was included made Spencer and William sure to remind Mom and Dad how badly they wanted to be there. So they closed on it. 2 weeks to get everything moved in before Dom started his residency, and with everything they had going on, this wasn't a lot of time. They managed to get all of the furniture set up and the boxes in each according room in only 5 days, but there was still a lot of work to do. They spent their weekend putting the bedrooms together for the kids in Dom's study space, but spent some time exploring the new neighborhood. They were greeted with so many warm welcomes from everyone because they hadn't had a new face in 25 years. No one explained why there were no permanent residents in the last quarter of a century, and Dom and Ariella both tilted their heads at this. When they told them which house they bought, they were met with fake smiles and shock. This only furthered the concern for Ariella, who worries about everything, but Dom had too much else to think about to worry about these weird occurrences. He still needed to get everything ready for his first day at the hospital and make sure the house was ready for him to be gone extremely long hours. 3 weeks in, and Ariella loved her new house, and so did the boys. Dom worked for his dad's carpentry business growing up, so he was quite handy, but his free time to fix things was minimal. Ariella began noticing a lot of creaks in the night, but knew how much pressure Dom was under and didn't want to nag him to fix things. She's a good wife. She figured, hey, it's an old house, what can you do? But things started to get weird. She was in bed half asleep one night and woke to the sensation of someone in the bedroom and a hand that draped down her hair affectionately. She was so exhausted that she woke up long enough to look at the clock and say, "Hi, babe," before falling back asleep. She assumed that it must have been Dom coming in from working at the hospital. 10:12 p.m. the clock read. When he woke for work again later that day, she asked him if he slept well and got enough with getting home so early. Early? Well, I guess 4 a.m. is early in the span of things, Dom said as he chuckled a little. Ariella squinted her face. 4 a.m.? I heard you come in around 10 last night. You must have been dreaming, sweetie. It was a late night. We had a released patient come back in with a brain bleed, Dom responded to her. A couple nights later, Dom told Ariella he knew he'd be home late because of a lengthy procedure that they would be starting on later in the evening. Ariella began getting frantic when she was alone in bed and the kids were asleep. The noises, the feeling she knew she had that someone had to have been there, and the weird neighbors. She hadn't slept since Dom told her he was at work when she felt someone in the room. She knew something else was going on. So, of course, she went to Google for answers. On a side note, why don't more people do this? Google the Gothic house you think you might buy and see if any creepy stories come up. Anyway, Google confirmed her fears. A family of 5 was slaughtered in this house. One of 6 families to be murdered on that block by a deranged psychopath only 60 years ago. The first family that tried to buy after it happened, about 40 years ago, left within 30 days because of complaints of noises, things moving, and human silhouettes. What the hell? Ariella thought to herself on the couch. Still, she persisted. She read on. The next and last family that moved in came in about 26 years ago and dealt with it for a little while longer, but left after they found their dog hung from the big willow tree in the backyard, and their child told them, her friend Judy told her, "This isn't your house. You need to leave." Ariella shut the laptop and said to herself, "Oh hell no, screw this. That's it. I grew up on these movies. We're out of here." She immediately called Dominic, but he didn't answer. She left him a detailed message before the phone was ripped out of her hand and thrown across the room. She couldn't find it and did not have time to worry about it. She ran upstairs to her kids' bedroom and yelled for them to get out of bed, but as soon as she reached the top of the spiral staircase, she looked down the hallway, and straight out of The Shining, their 2 kids are standing at the end, staring at her. Nope, she said to them. A big bang happened behind her towards the bottom of the stairs. She turned behind her in terror to find nothing. When she looked back at the hallway, her kids were gone. She ran down the hallway screaming for them, went into Spencer's room, and found Spencer talking in the corner to someone. "Baby, who are you talking to? I need you to come to Mommy, okay?" Spencer just kept talking. All of a sudden, in the midst of conversation and Ariella frantically trying to coerce her child to leave the corner, she hears Spencer say the name Judy. "Oh God, it's happening," she says right before Spencer turns his head around with dark circles under his eyes while his body is still facing the corner, and yells, "Go away!" She runs to the other room for William, and he's sleeping. She scoops him up and turns around towards the door, and there Spencer is. His hands seemingly interlocked with another's, an adult's. "Baby," she says to Spencer. He says nothing more, looks up to the invisible figure to his left, makes eye contact, and slowly moves his face back, making eye contact with Ariella. Spencer tilts his head down and looks at her with a smirk.
Oh.
That's where the name comes from, people.
Well, that was a forward progress in thought then. Wow, that was a great story. I was actually getting shivers there a couple times.
Well, that's good.
Reminds me of the old Eddie Murphy skit. You ever heard that one?
Go ahead and tell.
There's a lot of pretty dicey Eddie Murphy skits these days.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah. All right, he hasn't done one in a while. But he used to do one based on Poltergeist, the movie Poltergeist. If it was a black family, would they act the same? He would go to the police immediately and would say, "Would you try to save your daughter?" "Well, yeah, I changed the channel. What do you want me to do?" He's like, "I walked in the house. Get out. Oh, we got to leave. Sorry, we can't stay."
Time to
great
go.
Joke. Great joke.
So what do you guys think the moral of that story is?
Amanda believes in ghosts.
All right. What about you, Aaron? What do you think the moral is?
I think the moral is you should always research the property you purchase.
Damn it.
Is that it?
Always Google, especially for supernatural things.
I don't know if I agree with always Google for supernatural things.
If you think that there's something supernatural going on,
why would you think there would
when
be
you buy a house?
Why would you think there would be something supernatural about your house?
If they haven't had anybody in that block move in 25 years.
I would be like, why is there roof damage? Where's the leak? I wouldn't be looking for ghosts.
There's a lot of weird... They heard the stories. If you listen to the story, which maybe you should go...
I listened to the entirety of the story because I was shivering.
Uh-huh. But they had stories that were told that they heard about before they actually bought the house. And it was at such a good price, they didn't have a way to turn it down. She should have Googled and taken the risk to buy a more expensive house.
I agree with the Googling part. I'm just saying the supernatural seems like a... Zach, back me up here. Do you Google for supernatural things when you look for houses if you were looking?
No. I don't know.
Because why?
Because ghosts are a dumb thing.
They're a dumb thing, so you believe in them, but they're dumb?
No, I don't believe in them, and it is dumb.
I don't believe in them either.
You don't believe in them at
I
all?
don't think they're dumb.
No, of course not.
But I don't believe in them. Yeah, so neither one of us really believe in ghosts. Do you?
I don't take out the possibility that there could be something.
So this is yes. That's
No,
a
it's
simple
not
way of saying
yes.
yes.
I've never experienced anything or had something happen to me where I felt like it could have. But I've heard of stories that have happened to other people. There's a lot of stories out there, and whether they're true or not, I can't decide on.
So have I. The Conjuring, Poltergeist, Sixth Sense, having a lot in that one.
Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of possibilities. I can't say one way or the other if it's a real thing or not. So,
You want me to do it for you? It's not a real thing.
well, it's good to know your opinion.
Boom.
That was the first
Knocked
thing I
it out.
wanted to know.
What's the first thing you want to know?
That was it. If you guys believed in the supernatural and ghosts and things like that.
Hard no. I
We know
wouldn't
where
even
Zach
allow for
stands.
the possibility.
Why so firmly?
Because it would imply that there is some kind of afterlife, which I firmly disagree with.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
You asked?
That's true. I did ask.
I mean,
It was an honest answer.
that's his perspective.
See, I'm on a different scale because I have a religious background and I do have religious feelings and leanings, and I still don't believe in ghosts. It's just not something I get behind. Maybe it's because if something moves in my house, I assume I'm the idiot that moved it. You know, if there's people, it feels like people are in my house, probably because somebody broke into my house. You know, I'm not going to shoot the ghost, but I will shoot whoever else it is.
But what about your kid? What if your
I won't
kid...
shoot them. That would be bad. You go to jail for that.
Well, if you get caught, they can't talk with
has a
The ghost
plan.
did it.
Move stuff.
Yeah, then you can blame the ghost. The ghost picked that up and shot. I didn't do nothing to little Johnny. Maybe he should have went to bed on time.
But I mean, if you saw your kid in the corner, are you not talking to something and they start acting very weird and you've already heard stories, you hear the same name that multiple other people's children have been saying. Judy this, Judy that. And then all of a sudden your kid's saying talking to the same person, assuming.
I assume they all watched the same movie on a sleepover.
60 years apart.
See,
They just
I automatically jump to psychological reasons. I don't jump to supernatural reasons. I think people get panicky. People are always looking for an explanation that isn't rational, I think, sometimes. Well, not always. People are often looking for an explanation that isn't rational because they don't want to confront the honest truth that maybe there's a problem with them, you know, or with their child or with their friend or whoever this thing might be happening to. So my personal belief is that's why people leap there, is because they would rather have an explanation that is absurd and takes away their complicity or that person's complicity or that person's mental state. You know, it just gives them an out. And I think that does happen. I know friends that have happened to where they've actually said they thought their house was haunted. I'm like, it's not haunted. You're just paranoid. And then when you talk to them, you can tell they're very paranoid, and maybe for good reason. Maybe something traumatic happened to them. Maybe something traumatic happened in the house that they did find out about, which makes them more paranoid about what's going on in their house. But I don't think it means there's ghosts. Unless you built your house on a Native American burial ground, I don't believe in ghosts. Now for some reason, that I'm kind of, all right, maybe I could see that one happening. But everywhere else, no.
What do you think gives us that feeling then? I think everybody's had that creepy feeling that somebody's watching you.
I call them stalkers.
But there's nobody around. You just have that feeling sometimes.
Maybe I think you do.
I know I'm not the only one.
I think you might be the only one on this podcast.
Well,
Well, no, I've had those feelings. You've never had that feeling where you thought someone was watching you?
I don't think so.
or that somebody else was around and nobody was.
He might be so cynical he killed those feelings. It's quite possible.
Buried them long ago.
With all of your hopes and dreams, apparently.
I remember when I was a kid having that feeling
Well, yeah.
my bedroom door and one of my basement bedrooms just kept opening every night. But
So maybe
Doors
you
open.
did have an experience and you're just suppressing it.
Maybe
right,
you.
the psychological horror of seeing a ghost
Yep.
has made me change myself.
It's made you cynical.
Or maybe my mom opened the door so the cat could come in the room, you know? It could be whatever.
I mean, it's possible.
I'm going with the ghost theory. That seems the most plausible, right?
Yes, the ghost did bad things to me in my room.
So have you ever had, Aaron, anything
Yes,
like
absolutely.
that?
I've had feelings where I've had those moments where things happened and I thought someone was there or someone was watching me. And I just chalk it up to I'm just being paranoid.
So you've never had like what some would say is a supernatural experience?
Like a ghost popping up?
Mm-hmm.
No, not that I recall. I remember even getting a Ouija board or Ouija, whichever way you run with that.
You tried to conjure
I tried.
them.
I'm like, come on in. Let's see what we can do with this ghost thing. Let's make some ghosts happen. And nothing ever, because I don't know. I'd watched some movie where you could conjure a ghost and the ghost would do your bidding to people you didn't like. And I'm like,
oh, that would be sweet. I'd
Right?
be into ghosts then.
That's exactly what I was going for. And that Ouija board let me down.
If I could summon a spirit of vengeance.
Oh my gosh.
That's exactly what I wanted. It didn't happen. See, Zach, I was disappointed. This
Yeah.
is probably why I don't believe in them now. I'm super
I'm
cynical.
disappointed for you.
Maybe the ghosts just don't like you guys. Maybe that's the problem.
Because they know we don't believe in them?
No, maybe they just... You know what?
You guys suck.
That actually...
You're the lame ones at the party.
That actually could be an interesting idea, that maybe that's why children seem to experience it more often than adults, because they're more imaginative and can take in more of the possibilities. So if ghosts did exist, then it would be easier to play on those. Like, what if they're not bad? What if ghosts aren't evil?
How about kids just have a more active imagination? I mean, that
it's
seems a more
possible.
rational
I
explanation.
did say that, but...
When I was a kid, my Goku action figure actually used, energy beams to fight people.
That's fair. No, it's fair. And that's why
I'm convinced my Ewok village was real. I battled on Endor a lot.
Those poor guys are still waiting for you to come home.
that's why I don't subscribe to either belief. I don't say that it's not possible or that it is possible. I haven't had the experience myself, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen.
That's kind of a half measure, isn't it?
No.
I mean,
If I have one goal with this podcast now, it is to close off your mind from the supernatural by the end.
It's the same idea of somebody being agnostic in terms of religion. You don't necessarily subscribe to the belief that there is a God, but you don't eliminate the possibility that there isn't. You just don't subscribe to either. You have an open mind to either possibility.
Agnostic that is not very open to a higher being.
You're thinking atheist. Agnostic,
No, I'm
by
thinking-
definition, the religion
I have
is...
met several people who define themselves as agnostic, and they sure as hell were not believing in a higher being.
There are two different levels. I don't know why we're even on this, but there's
I don't
two
know.
different levels of
This is the
agnosticism where there's more extreme, where they don't completely disbelieve in the possibility,
Like
but
these snowboarders of God.
Sure. But they don't necessarily, they're pretty firm on their stance that, you know what, I really don't think there's a possibility, but I'm not saying that it's totally not possible. And then there's some who are a little bit more soft on it's actually called soft agnosticism and hard agnosticism. And the people who are more soft say, you know what, it could be either or. And I'm not saying one way or the other because I don't have the ability to.
And so that's labels for everything.
And so that's kind of how this would fit in for me with supernatural is I can't say that it can't ever happen, and I can't say that it does happen because I've not experienced it happening, but who am I to say that it couldn't?
Well, I can say.
That's because
It's never happened.
you're Zach Parkerson, so you're very firm on your beliefs.
Like a Sith, I deal in absolutes.
Yes, that's true. So if you guys happened, get your imagination out. If you happened...
Hang on, let me get the box.
Where's that Ewok village at?
All right, I'm going to do it with
Head
action
up your
figures.
6-year-old inner self.
Okay, Amanda, let's go.
Is that what you sounded like? Is
That's
it 6-year-old?
what I sound like now when I think
A
outside
Mickey
the
Mouse
box.
when you were 6 years old.
What would you guys do if you, as an adult, experienced seeing something that was supernatural? Whether it's somebody being possessed in front of you or actually seeing some sort of like a ghost.
Yeah, if I encountered something supernatural, I don't know, I would shoot it, or it's hard. My mind can't even imagine it. Like, it won't allow it.
You really do deal in absolutes.
God, get off my lawn, man.
It's so strong a belief I have that there are no ghosts in this world that it is hard for me to pretend that there would be.
All right, well, Cranky Pants. Well, I will say that I can imagine it. I can imagine a world where something like that were to happen.
Or just talk about what you would do if you were in a different world and it happened.
Yeah, if I was in this world and hey, people are wrong all the time. I hate to say it. People think they're right. Except for Zach, obviously.
Thank you. Write that down.
No, let's edit
recorded.
that.
It's recorded. Personally, so I'm walking through the house and a ghost pops in. Right?
Why did you get so like Al Pacino just now?
And this ghost pops in. What am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to move out of my house and sell it. I'm not going to tell anybody what happened because I want someone to purchase that house as soon as possible. That's my honest to God's answer. If I actually thought there was a ghost in my house, unlike all these people that freak out and consult with these experts and they end up with the media on the front porch, I tell nobody. That's your problem. Do your research. Find out about that burial ground because I ain't telling you. And I sell the house, get out of there as quickly as possible, and then I find a nice house. Actually, I would probably go to a condo or an apartment for a while to make sure that one's not haunted.
So basically what everyone needs to learn from this podcast is don't ever buy a house that Aaron has put up for sale.
No,
ever.
Buy it as soon as possible because I'm leaving. What I'm telling you is if it's haunted, I never understand in movies and TV shows and news accounts. When Amityville Horror, those people stayed there long after they should have ran the hell out. If you think there's somebody demonizing your family, get out. Leave. Why are you hanging out? I don't need to figure it out. I don't care. I don't need to solve whatever this ghost problem is. That's his problem, his or her problem. I don't want to do it. Nope, I'm out.
Well, that's smart. That's
all you'd see is my dust because I would be down the street. And if my family's like, I don't want to leave. I love this house. Bye. I'll see you at the next one.
Or maybe not. I don't care.
Maybe.
I'm going.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would be paranoid about everything if I thought something happened. I wouldn't be able to live in that sort of lifestyle where I was constantly
Would you
paranoid.
investigate it or would you just leave?
Knowing me, I would probably look into it. I would probably act the same way that in the story Ariella did. I would want to see if I'm being paranoid and overthinking things. And, she's pregnant. Maybe she's tired from, she's got basically 3 kids she's got to worry about and our husband.
She's named after the Little Mermaid, so that's got to be hard.
Well, that's Ariel. This is Ariella.
Oh,
Why don't
sorry.
you keep up.
Sorry. Well, it's close enough for me.
I know. That's where I came up with the name from it. But I would be in the same fashion where I would want to make sure that I'm not just being dramatic and overthinking things and being paranoid. And if I come to the conclusion that this is not a safe situation, my ass is gone. I'm out. I'm with you, Aaron. I'm running away.
Yep.
I don't
I'm
care
not running.
if I have
I'm
to
driving away. I want out as fast as humanly possible.
That's why you have time to pick up your keys when you're running out of the house.
Nope, I throw them down the street. I'll get them down there. I don't want to be in this house longer than I need to.
Oh, man. I think we need to have a movie made about you in that sort of experience.
It would
That'd
be the
hilarious.
shortest
movie.
Be the shortest horror movie of history. As soon as I found out that there's something in there, somebody's like, you know what? Man, I saw little Billy last night. He was in his room. He was in the corner talking to me. We're out. We're out.
Your
The movie would be
bags.
90 minutes of him watching TV. The camera pans to the ghost. Pans back to the couch, and Aaron's already gone.
Accurate.
Oh, man.
Accurate. Do zero research. I just don't care. And it's always, you watch those movies and there's always like the ghost gives indications that they just want you to solve it, go dig up their bones, solve their murder, all that stuff. I would just write them a note that said, tough luck. Get the next one. I got to go.
Why can't ghosts talk?
I know. That's a good point. Or an Etch-a-Sketch or something.
Help a guy. If ghosts could talk, I would hang out. I would be like, hey, what's up, man? Talk to me.
Tell me your story.
What if it was like if it was like a Casper situation, you'd be down for it?
The friendly ghost?
Yeah. Where he just hangs out and makes
Yeah,
breakfast for you.
He might be annoying, though.
A little too friendly for Zach.
Yeah.
You need more cynicism.
He sounds like he's like a dog in that movie.
Aw, don't say that. He's adorable.
Why weren't more people freaking out when they saw him? That's what I want to know. I mean,
He's friendly.
yeah, but it's still a ghost. You should be somewhere else. You know what? I didn't move here so I could hang out and talk to you. Follow me around all day. You're popping up in the bathroom or wherever I'm at. God, ghosts don't make sense to me sometimes.
Sometimes. Other times they do.
Oftentimes they do not make sense to me.
What if I started to overly hit on the ghost? Do you think that would freak it out and make it leave?
Like, how you doing?
Like I'm just like really into it.
I think that would probably be your route. All
Yeah,
of a sudden,
you know what?
there's like a video game ghost that's hanging out with you and brings you, what's that game?
Baby, I can see right through you.
Yeah.
The rest of this podcast is just ghost pickup lines.
Oh,
Oh, man. All right. Well, if you guys...
I'll carry you over to the other side. I think I could do all right on the dating scene.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah.
I think you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm gonna make you scream like the night you died.
Oh my God. Write that down. Zach, would you leave someone you love if you thought they were possessed? If you happen to subscribe to the belief that they could be possessed,
That's a good question.
would you leave the person you love or would you try to help them?
Okay, so I can't just like commit them because I know they are possessed, right?
You know that they're possessed.
Okay.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
No, I would not leave them. I would, I don't know, you know, make love with that ghost.
What?
What if it's your mom or your dad?
She said possessed. She said
I thought you said
possessed.
somebody I love, though. That's why I was confused. Okay.
You don't love your parents? Well, this explains everything.
Just kidding.
Let's go back to your wife. All right, pretend your wife is
No, you know what?
possessed.
I would probably lock them down in the basement, chain them to a radiator, and just kind of,
Check on them every once in a while.
yeah. And then, like, the ghost is, like, gnawing at me all the time, but I just toss it a sandwich. You guys are laughing a lot. This is really, like, my first train of thought.
Your friends come over. You want to go see her? She's downstairs. Let's go see Linda.
You guys want to check out my mom? Dude, it's messed up. She's possessed.
Why does she only say, I'll swallow your soul?
Oh, I can't form words right now. Aaron, what would you do if it was someone you love?
Not that. Definitely
That's
not
love. Whatever you're about to describe is horror.
If I have to assume that it's true, if I have to assume that that is a fact, this actually happened, they're
Yep.
possessed, and I'm ruled out mental illness of all kinds, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, one, I'd probably leave. No, I would. Man, it's a hard debate. I would take them and find someone who specializes in whatever they.
So you're doing exactly what you just complained about movies doing.
I don't have a choice at that point. I'm not going to leave them. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to
Alright.
leave them unless it gets really, like if they try to kill me, I'm out. That's on them. That's really their problem.
What if they like hunt you down or find you? Or
I am
something?
with you for support as long as you're still supportive to me. That's the way I look at it. I'm not going to be in an abusive relationship. I ain't Tina Turner. I'm leaving.
Tina Turner. 20-year-old references.
What's love got to do with this? Sorry. I might not be the hero you're looking for.
You know what? You don't have to be anybody's hero.
Oh my goodness. Well, this just might be the funniest podcast we've done yet.
Maybe. Or the people are so irritated that they stopped listening.
So do you guys think that this is a true story? Not that you could believe in it anyway. Or do you think that it's fiction?
It's some hard fiction.
Yeah. That's
Stephen King would be proud.
Yeah, it felt like it. I thought it was it for a while. So yeah, definitely fiction.
There was no clown in there.
Maybe that's where you missed the window.
No, you haven't seen the second movie, though, so that's where he's drawing the parallels.
Oh,
There you
gotcha. Okay.
Read the book.
Come on. So was it fiction or truth?
Oh, it was definitely fiction to make you both happy.
We win. Because it couldn't be
You
true.
win nothing. No prizes.
Can't be true.
Can't be true.
There was a
my
ghost.
Goodness.
Exactly. Ariella was fine. She was kind of I think she just didn't want to live there anymore.
Actually, I don't think she was fine. She actually had severe mental illness that her parents were ignoring.
For many, many years. And her husband's a neurosurgeon. He should have seen some signs that things were going downhill.
Wow, a neurosurgeon.
She's got
Yeah.
a real job.
Didn't you hear that in the beginning?
I heard the medical stuff. The story is fiction. You got a neurosurgeon in there.
And Spencer's
Because
obvious.
neurosurgeons don't exist.
No, a neurosurgeon who has to buy a house on the cheap.
They got some expensive bills.
That's a good point.
They have 3 kids. He hasn't
he
even
might-
started
I thought
this
he had
job
2
yet.
kids. There's another one? Oh, one on the way.
The one on the
They
way.
don't. That doesn't count.
It
Two and a
doesn't
half.
count when it's 3 months away.
I think he may have a crippling gambling addiction that his wife does not know about.
I mean, if he does, it's not. I mean, he hasn't been a neurosurgeon. The thing is, he's starting his residency at Johns Hopkins Hospital. And when you start your residency,
that's true. You're still a little poor. You got a lot of college debt. All right.
And he has her debt too.
Anyway.
She doesn't work.
What's the name of your story?
What was the joke that you made?
I'll make you scream. I like the night you died.
Is that the name of your story?
It is now.
Wow.
I can't wait. So people have been waiting this whole episode for that title. Although they saw it when they listened to the episode. Yeah. I can't wait to hear what this one's about. I'll make you scream like the night you died.
They're not going to know it's so sexy until they listen to the story, though.
That's true. It'll seem like a horror tale, so it works.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well done.
I like it. Good job, Zach. You're good for something.
Wow. You're good for something, Zach.
Man, you sound like every woman who's ever been in my life.
Well, as our show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. We've got a couple coming up. If you'd like the chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. Please join the conversation by joining our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter @SmirkPodcast, and be sure to use the show's hashtag Smirk. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe to Smirk on your podcast app of choice and check out our website at smirkpodcast.com. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Amanda, well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You want to get on the job and take us out of this?
I'm getting there.
You got to look it up. She doesn't know the tagline yet, guys. I hope everybody listening knows that. She doesn't know
don't edit any of this.
I'm not.
I want real time.
You know what? You guys have screwed it up before too, plenty of times. You just use your editing to make it sound better.
Not going to do it this time.
That's fine.
Own it.
That is fine.
We'll pretend a ghost took over.
Amanda, are you okay? Amanda?
Are you possessed? Time to put her down, Zach.
That's not what her eyes normally look like, man. Just, you know what? Let's get it done with.
And as you write your own life story, possibly with a ghost, always remember to tell it with a smirk.
No ghosts.
And as you write your own life story, stop laughing.
You don't have to do it again.
You just yelled at me for it.
No, I was yelling at you the theory that you could write a story with a ghost in it. That's your life story, because that wouldn't be true. Fiction. It's not real.
Can I just redo this?
Bruce Willis is a ghost.
Whoa, spoilers, man.